Hello everyone, I'm Paul and this is problem 3534. Path existence queries in a graph 2. This is a very hard problem, so here we will go step by step. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I highly recommend you to watch that video first. It's in my channel. This is very similar to part 1. The main difference is that for each query we need to find the minimum distance between the source and destination nodes. And if there is no path, we have to use -1 instead. Another difference is that this array nums that we are given is not sorted. If we are given this input, we can build this graph. We only have one query which goes from 0 to 3, and there's one possible path here. The corresponding length is 3, and this happens to be the minimum distance between these two nodes, so the result of this query is 3. Given that we only have one query, we return this. If we had an edge here, the result of this query would be 1. Why? Well, because in this scenario, the shortest path, the minimum distance between these two nodes would be 1. Given that we don't have this edge, we need to take this path and the minimum distance is 3. So how do we find the shortest distance in an unweighted graph? Well, for each query, we could run a BFS, but as you may guess, this is very inefficient because we can have a lot of queries, so we have to think about something else. The main idea here is that if we are trying to get the path with the minimum distance, every time we should try to take the largest jump. How far can we go from this node? Well, if we want to answer this question first, we should sort this array nums, and we will also store the indices of each element which corresponds to each node. So this is the new sorted array. We have a tuple for each element. The first value every time is the corresponding value in nums, and the second value is the corresponding index. This was already sorted. As you can see, the values are in ascending order. Here we have the same values 1, 3, 6, and 10. And here the corresponding nodes 0, 1, 2, 3. So if we are standing at this node and this is already sorted, how far can we go from this node with only one jump? Well, we can take the current value 1 plus the maximum difference 4. The result is 5. And now we can check where can we place this 5 in this sorted array. How? Well, with a binary search. We can put a 5 in between 3 and 6 right here. So the result of this binary search will be 0, 1, 2. Now, we need to subtract 1, so we are looking at index 1. This means that from this node, we can reach index 1 as a maximum. And we need to store this information somewhere, so we will have an array to keep track of the maximum possible jumps from every index. From index 0, we can reach 1 as a maximum, this one. How far can we go from index 1? Well, we take the current value, 3, plus the difference 4, and this is equal to 7. So where can we place this 7? Well, in between 6 and 10 right here. This corresponds to index 0, 1, 2, 3. So the binary search will return 3. And this -1 is equal to 2. As a maximum, we can reach this index. As you can see here, we are storing this information. From index 1, we can reach index 2 as a maximum. Next, we are here. How far can we jump? Well, we take the current value, 6, plus the difference, 4, and this is equal to 10. Where can we place this 10 in this array? Well, we run the binary search, and this will give us index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we do this -1, the result is 3. So as a maximum, we can reach index 3. That's why here we have a 3. And how far can we go from here with only one jump? Well, we take the current value, 10, plus the maximum difference 4, this is equal to 14. And if we run the binary search, that will give us 4. 4 minus 1 is equal to 3, and that's why here we have a 3. Now we can use this array to run a DFS for every query here. We have to go from 0 to 3. So from 0, we can reach index 1 as a maximum. Here we have one jump. From index 1, we can reach index 2 as a maximum. Here we have 2 jumps. From index 2, we can reach index 3 as a maximum. Here we have 3 jumps. These 3 happens to be the minimum number of jumps to go from 0 to 3, so the result of this query is 3. And this is fine, but as you may guess, it's very inefficient because we need to run a DFS for every query. So what we are doing here instead is something called binary lifting. And this is a pretty advanced topic, so don't worry if you don't get the idea first try. First, we need to build a grid where rows are the number of jumps and columns are indices. As you can see, this first row is very familiar. It's exactly the same as this, 1, 2, 3, 3. If we take one jump only, from index 0 we can reach index 1 as a maximum. If we take one jump from index 2, we can reach index 3 and so on. Now, why do we want more rows here? Well, because for each query we will try to take the maximum possible number of jumps every time. You will see how this works in a few minutes, but for now, here we have 2 to the power of 1, which is equal to 2. If we take 2 jumps from index 0, we can reach index 2 as a maximum. And as you can see here, this makes sense. If we start from index 0, we can reach 1 as a maximum. From index 1, we can reach index 2 as a maximum. So if we are standing at index 0 and we take 2 jumps, we can reach index 2 as a maximum, and so on. Now let's see how to use this table. We are given this query from 0 to 3, so we can say that current is the minimum number 0. This is not sorted, so if we had 3, 0, current would still be 0. Keep this in mind. This means that we are looking at this column. And first we will try the maximum number of jumps. What if we start from index 0 and take 4 jumps? Well, we have more than enough to reach the destination. We can reach the destination, meaning 3 in 3 jumps, but we have 4 available. And we are looking for the minimum number of jumps to reach the destination. So the trick is the following. If we have a query from 0 to 3, we will look for a number that's right before the destination so that then we can add one more jump and get the minimum number of jumps to reach the destination. Here 3 is the destination, so current stays at 0. We are still standing at this index and we can continue with a smaller number of jumps. What if we are here and take 2 jumps? Well, we can reach index 2 as a maximum. Okay, and given that this number is strictly smaller than the destination, we are good to go. We can actually take this number of jumps and we will not exceed the minimum number of jumps, which means that current is now the number that we have here, 2, and well, we can add to the current number of jumps 2 to the power of the current row. 2 to the power of 1 is 2. We are taking 2 jumps. Now we need to check a smaller number of jumps. Current is 2, so we are standing at this index, meaning here. What if we take only 1 jump from this index? How far can we go? Well, technically we can reach the destination, but remember that if we consider this, the total number of jumps might exceed the minimum distance required to reach the destination. Given that 3 is equal to the destination, we continue. Now we have already tried all the jumps here, so we can check if max jumps at current, meaning index 2, is greater or equal to the target. This means that from the current position we can reach the target with only 1 jump, so we add 1 to the current number of jumps and add this to the result. Here we only have 1 query, so the final result is an array with 3. If this number was smaller than 3, 2 for example, we wouldn't be able to reach the destination, so the result of this query would be -1. And there's one final thing to mention. After sorting this array, we might lose track of the original order of nodes. That's why we actually sort this, because this array nums is not sorted by default. Here it happens to be sorted, but this is not guaranteed. So we need to keep track of the original position of nodes. We will have a map n to I, which means node to index, where keys are unique nodes and values are indices in this sorted array. Node number 0 is at index 0, node number 1 is at index 1, and so on. So then when we are reading queries, we can check what are the corresponding indices of the nodes in this sorted array. For example, here we know that node number 0 is at index 0, meaning here. Node number 3 is at index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3 in the sorted array, and so on. And here is what's interesting about this binary lifting. Given that we increase champs in terms of powers of 2, space for this is big O of n, because of columns, we have n columns, times log n, okay? If we increase in terms of powers of 2, we have a log n rows. So overall time complexity is this plus q log n. Why? Well, because first we have to sort nums. This requires n log n. Then we have to build this array max champs. And remember that from every index we are running a binary search. Binary search requires log n. So overall time complexity for that part is n log n. Then we have to build this table. The dimensions are n times log n. So this is n log n again. And then we have to answer queries. For each query, we are iterating all the rows. This is queries times log n. And space complexity here is overall big O of n log n plus the amount of queries. Why? Well, because this has a size of n. This has a size of n also. We need space for sorting, which is n in Python. This matrix has a size of n log n, and we need a space of q for the result. So with all of this in mind, now let's go with the code and hopefully you will get the idea. First, we can say that nums is an array with tuples, where the first element is the value, the second one is the index. So we want this for every index and value in enumerate nums. Now we can sort this, and we need a map n to I. This is initially empty, and now we can fill the map. So for every index and combination of value and node in enumerate nums, we can say that n to I at the current node is equal to the index in the sorted array, this index, okay? Now we can go down here and say that max champs is an array with 0 times n, and now we need to fill this array. So for every index and combination of value and node in enumerate nums, we can say that the next index that we can reach as a maximum with only one champ is the result of the binary search minus 1. So we can use bisect left on nums using a tuple, because nums is made with tuples. Here we have to use a tuple with 2 elements. The first one is the current value plus the maximum difference. The second one is positive infinity. We don't care about this value. So we want the result of this binary search minus 1. This is the next index that we can reach from the current index. And we need to store this, so max champs at the current index is equal to this next index. Now we can continue with the table. The amount of rows is given by the number of bits in n, so we can use bit length, and we will call the table up. We have the first row already. This is max champs, and we need the rest of the rows, so we can say for every index in range from 1 to log, every time the last row is equal to up at minus 1, and now up dot append the new row. This is an array, and we need to go one level deeper, so we use last at I, okay, for every index in range n. Now with this we can build the result. This is an empty array, and we can iterate queries. So for A and B in queries, first we need to get the indices in the sorted array. For this we have a map, so A is equal to n to I A, and B is equal to n to I with B. Now we say if A is equal to B, we are already at the destination, so the distance is 0. Result.append 0, and we can continue with the next query. If we are still here, we can check if A is larger than B. Why? Well, because we are using A for the smallest number. If B is smaller than A, we need to swap elements. Now A and B are equal to B and A. Now we say that current is equal to the smallest element, A, and the initial number of jumps is 0. Now we will iterate jumps starting from the largest number. Remember the drawing. So we say for k in range, and we go from log -1 to -1 in steps of -1. And if up at k current is strictly smaller than the destination, we can actually go to somewhere before the destination, so we are good to go. We can go to the next index. Now current is the next index. Here we use up at k current, and we need to add the corresponding number of jumps, which is 2 to the power of k. And after the for loop, down here, we check if max jumps current is greater or equal to the destination. We can reach the destination in the number of jumps plus 1, so result.append the number of jumps plus 1. Else, there's no way to reach the destination, so result.append -1. And down here, we can just return result. So let's submit this and see if it works. As you can see, this works and it's very efficient. I know that this might be a very hard problem, so if you didn't get the idea, I highly recommend you to watch this video again from the start. If you found this useful, please drop a like, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.